You are listening to the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, my favorite podcast to listen to on long flights across the galaxy.
This is the way.
We want it men.
Welcome to episode 170 of the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. It's been a long weekend, but we're here. I'm Glenn, and with me is Jason. Jason, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm a little tired, but I'm good. Yeah. We had our winter social last night. It was mine and my wife's turn to host this year. And it's exhausting. And then on top of that, we went to a toy show today. So it's been a long weekend.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm good.
How are you feeling?
I'm awesome. I'm well.
Yeah?
I've been kicking butt and doing a lot of stuff around the house. It seems like
awesome.
I say lazy day, but like I'm still doing a lot of stuff.
All right. Yeah, no, yesterday, yesterday with the rain, because there was a Powder Springs toy show, but it got basically rained out. And I talked to Martin today about it. He goes, I'm not going to cancel another one again. And but he says that every time it rains. And because it was raining, I think just enough to aggravate people. And when they had kind of a cancel that we took that as okay, cool. We've got tomorrow morning, this morning, Saturday morning to rest and kind of take all day to get the house ready.
Right.
And But then today we went to Conyers, but we can get into all that fun stuff later.
Yeah, I was going to go to the toy swap. Harrison was taking the SATs kind of on that side of town, like halfway between here and Powder Springs. And it would have been great to go out there. But then you said it was semi-canceled and I decided against it. And I ran a bunch of errands and got some cool things from Target and Walmart, which I can go into, and store reports and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm looking at my wife now, and we're like, we still need to go buy groceries. And she's like, crap.
Yes.
But when I did talk to Martin, we're going to I'll talk Powder Springs real quick. I saw him today at Conyers. He said there was about 10 or 15 vendors, but they had about 50 people, buyers show up. So they, I think everybody was happy.
Good.
But it's just hard to do an outside event in the rain.
Yeah. This week, last weekend, I should say, I did go to Box Lunch. I was looking for the Micro Galaxy Squadron chases. Sometimes they get those, and they had this Hawaiian shirt, and I was looking for Hawaiian shirts to wear at Rogue Fun, and this one was the Cantina. It had Cantina band members. It had a booth with like Hammerhead and I think Walrus Man, Panda Baba were together. But then I noticed one of the Cantina band members was with a Greedo character playing a flute. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's from Return of the Jedi. That's not supposed to be on a Cantina shirt. And I flipped it over to the back, and they had Obi-Wan Kenobi at a booth with Hoth Luke sitting at a booth drinking a drink. And I'm like, how does this happen where Hoth Luke is on a Cantina shirt?
I could have given him the players, giving him but the Hoth Luke, it's like when they did the everybody is sorry, I'm trying to turn Do Not Disturb on my computer. Oh no, and then I lost you. There you are. It was like when they did, because wasn't there like for the Empire Strike? No, was it Return of the Jedi? One of those things instead when they took Slave Leia out and they put Hoth Leia in the picture, it's like, guys, it's a freaking desert planet. Why would he be in Hoth gear?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was ridiculous and worth commenting on. I guess it's a Rogue Fun shirt because it is a Rogue shirt. It's got nothing to do with
But you would know that stuff because you've been studying the cantina because you're in the process of building one.
I don't think you need to study the cantina to know that Luke dressed in snow gear doesn't belong in the cantina.
Right. But you would know that, but you may not have known the other part because I didn't know either.
I feel bad for the casual fans who, like you're saying, don't know that.
Right.
Oh, it's Luke and Ben. Okay, yeah, they were on Hoth together. I guess technically, yeah.
I don't feel bad about the cat. I feel bad about the person who's going to buy that for a fan, because there'll be at box lunch. It'll be a grandma or a mom or something. And it'll be like, oh, look, it's Star Wars. Little Johnny loves the Star Wars. And then it's going to be this horrible shirt that they have to wear because grandma bought it for him. And it'll be like Ralphie in the bunny outfit. You've got to wear it at least once.
Yeah. So what did you pick up this week?
What did I pick up? My dog. Well, hold on. It wasn't my wife. It was my dogs.
Your dogs, yes.
Gave me the present. Their present showed up. It actually showed up before we recorded last week, but it is a 3D printed mural from Rebels. So
that's right.
It's scaled to the 6-inch figure. So I've got it sitting back behind all my Rebels stuff. So that came in, and then today at the show, although actually I didn't pick up anything at the show, but then we went, I picked up one of the Jack's Pacific, not the big tall ones, but I think they made 6-inch or not 6-inch, 12-inch.
They made 12, 18, and 36.
Okay, so this is a 12-inch. They had a Kanan still in the box for like $10 at another place we went that we'll get into. And at that point, it's sort of like, you get around stuff and you're like, you get the itch that you have to buy something just because. So it was cheap enough to scratch the itch without really taking up a lot of room. And what else? Oh, my Hera. Did I talk about my TVC Hera? That came in.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Narayan noticed, he was looking at my stuff last night and he noticed that the retro figure, he thinks that the ghost emblem on her jacket is actually like etched into the sculpt. But I didn't pay that. I didn't pick it back up and look. Or it feels like raised or something. So that was curious.
Yeah, it could be a really thick coating of paint, but maybe it is sketched, etched, sculpted into the figure itself.
So I think that's all I've picked up recently. Because I canceled all my Micro Galaxy Squadron. I'm waiting for the TIE Bomber to come in. Because it's a TIE Bomber. I mean, you got to get a TIE Bomber. But I'm just waiting for all the Canadian stuff from the Micro Galaxy Squadron to start making its way down here. Or one of our Canadian listeners to be like, ooh.
Oh, hey, here's a Sabine,
it's sitting in my Walmart or my whatever, the Fred Meyers. And look, that guy Glenn wants one.
I went to my Tim Hortons and then I went down to Walmart and I picked up a Sabine TIE fighter for my friend Glenn.
They had 5 of them just sitting on the shelf, don't you know?
Yeah, what did you get at the Winter Social? Who was your
Lewis was my white Wampa, and he gave me the 12-inch Wampa. And then there was it's a cross. I think it's from either Joe Fest or Retro Toy Con last year, but I've seen them floating around a lot. It was a Boba Fett and a bat. Boba Fett from Star Wars and then the bat from G.I. Joe, a crossover figure. So it's basically a bat from G.I. Joe, it's like a robot figure, I think, painted up to look like Boba Fett. And it had all the accessories and stuff, which is really awesome because I'd been looking at them for a while. It's just one of those things there. Again, when you have, $30-$40 in your pocket burning a hole, you keep looking at a certain figure going, that's kind of cool. And you just don't pull the trigger on it. And then I ended up getting one for my Winter Social. So, so it was kind of fun. So it worked out great. And then I didn't have one of the 12-inch Wampas. So to go on my wall of Wampas after we're done cleaning up, after we're done recording. So who was your white Wampa?
You.
Mandy, seriously, she looks at me and goes, you want Jason? I went, yeah, it's going to mess everything else up. I'll take Jason because my wife did it was the first year. It was nice because it was the first time in like 2-3 years that I didn't do the names. So Mandy didn't participate in it this year. So she decided, she was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do the names. So that way I don't know, you don't know them all. So it was kind of nice not knowing who had who. And then, so what did you get?
I got an Action Fleet pod racer, but it's the episode 1 line. It is Galoob prior to Hasbro buying them out. There was a switch over in the middle of that line. So this was a Galoob piece, and it's one of the racers where you could rev it up and shoot it out, like one of those Evel Knievel motorcycles almost, where it just shoots down. I wish I could I need to get a junk one and just drop it from the top of my driveway and watch it just fly down the mountain, Mount Wasolko, and see what happens.
Oh, dude, that's such a great name for your driveway.
It's not the first time it's been called
that. Your driveway makes me realize how bad out of shape I am. It's
yours is like a piece of cake.
Jason's driveway is like a 45-degree angle, really bad, and it feels like a hike. And every time I climb it, it's just, you're out of breath. You hate leaving his house because, of course, we've been drinking and you've had a cigar and you're already a little, you're not feeling the best, and then you got to make that hike.
I also got some whiskey glasses that are kind of like vacuum formed as a stormtrooper.
Yeah,
I'm holding it up for those that are on YouTube. And then the Decatur that came with looked really, really small, but it's not.
Oh, look, you've already got it filled. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just got some Benchmark whiskey, which is a Buffalo Trace. But yeah, it's shaped as a stormtrooper head, and it's deceptively small, like I said, but this is like 750 milliliters. So if you pick up the small Jack, it fits the same thing.
Right. Yeah, that's like the medium-sized Jack, which is what we had, which had a lot of people hit that Jack. Uh-oh. Look at him drinking. Jason's drinking on the podcast.
Just a little one. Anyways, enjoying it. But so what I picked up this week, in addition to that, a bunch of the Amazon pre-orders from back in April finally came through from Micro Galaxy Squadron. I got the A-Wing, which is the Last Jedi A-Wing, painted to look like the Return of the Jedi A-Wing. The original Return of the Jedi A-Wing is much smaller, so it's a little irking to have the new one right on top of the Action Fleet one, which kind of looks, the Action Fleet one looks just like it's supposed to, and then you've got this one with the longer nose. It's like, come on, guys, let's not be that cheap.
Right. I think I remember Max actually saying something about it, and he was just like, what do you guys want?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, we can't afford to make a whole new mold, so this is the best we can do, but maybe don't do it. Anyways, I got the Vulture Droid, I got the TIE Interceptor. With that, I got 2 Paplu chases, which are the extremely hard ones to find, and I've already traded one of them for the Echo, which is the other chase.
Oh, nice.
The Vulture Droid came with C-3PO in the escape pod, and then yesterday while I was out, the Target in Ackworth had just set out 2 boxes of the chases. So I started picking through them, and I picked the lightest one and I picked the heaviest one, and I bought those, hoping that it was the General Grievous wheel bike, but there was a good chance that the escape pod was just as heavy. So I was afraid that I would get a duplicate of that, but no, I opened it up and it was General Grievous.
Nice.
And then the lightest one was the Ewok and the glider.
Okay.
So I think I'm missing 2 or 3 of those now. I think it's a Leia on a speeder bike and maybe a clone trooper on a speeder bike or something, but
they really like those speeder bikes, man.
Yeah. They're repainting it. And then but I did go to, like I said yesterday, I was out and about. I did go to Walmart and I was a little disappointed. They had just set out a new Series 4 pack, a boxed wave, or whatever you want to call them. It had 2 N1 starfighters, a Y-wing, and a Series 1 X-wing. And I was just thinking to myself, how many X-wings did they overproduce where they had to pack forward in Series 4 of this line just to try to get through the inventory?
Wow. So they had a Series 1 and a Series 4.
Yeah, a Series 1 vehicle, marked Series 1 with the launch edition sticker.
Yeah.
With the one Y-wing and the two N1 starfighters.
That may be why I'm not finding any chases or anything right now on that line, on that wave.
I was excited because the chase is Wedge Antilles X-wing, so I thought I was picking up Wedge's X-wing, and kind of I want another one of those for my diorama that I'm working on, but no, it was Luke, and I'm like, I could repaint this, but nah.
Yeah, one more thing, because you had mentioned Micro Galaxy stuff. I reminded Narayan gave me a bunch of patches and a sign, a Hoth sign also.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's always good about
he's extremely generous, because
yes.
he did give me, he was at his Target and they had the Poe Dameron chase. So he got that, and I got the coffee IG-11 or IG-88 sign from Celebration 5, and
yeah,
an iron-on because I'm working on something for Rogue Fun. Just take a wild guess as what that might be right now, but yeah, it was incredibly generous of him, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Exactly.
I also got the 212 TVC 4-pack, which was on sale before or during Black Friday on Hasbro Pulse. It's the 4-pack of troopers, but they're all painted orange.
Mm-hmm.
Got that for 35% off, which is what I was waiting for before I bought that.
Nice. Yeah, they and Entertainment Earth had a killer sale too, I heard, but I didn't get anything off of it.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I have some news, and then we can go into
let's
the
do
Conyers
it.
Toy Show, because you went to that today, and then we can talk about the Winter Social. And if I'm hosting next year, I think there's a change I might make.
I want to make that change anyway.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, no, I know where you're going, and if it's the change I'm thinking of, I'm down. I'm all for it.
Rumors about Skeleton Crew says it won't arrive until 2024, November, December timeframe. So we have to wait. Yeah, we have to wait another year. The next time we do get content, it'll probably be the Acolyte sometime in the summer.
Okay.
But for now, I think Skeleton Crew, which I thought was good to go, they might be holding that off because they're going to start filming Mando season 4 at some point soon. And
I know. I talked to somebody today, and I think they're actually like in pre-production of that.
Somebody who's working on the show? Is this a breaking?
No, it's not
Galaxy?
Huh? Yeah.
This is breaking Smugglers Galaxy news. Beep, 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 beep.
You remember that guy that was at Second Chance like 2 years ago that did painting and stuff?
Yes.
He was there. He was at we went by another place today, and he was there. He set up a booth in there, and he was doing painting. And I was like, dude, you owe me some stuff from like 2 years ago at Second Chance, because I'd won some things that he was going to paint up, and I didn't want to be a ding dong. I didn't want to bug him too much because he's basically doing it for free. And he was like, yeah, Mando season 4. And I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, come on. So,
but we're probably not going to get Andor season 2 or Mando season 4 until 2025.
Wow.
Writer strike and actor strike shut down Andor, so they've got to ramp that back up, and a lot of productions have been waiting to get people back on a schedule and get clearances for locations and stuff, so it takes time.
Yeah, no, but as much as that stinks, I think we do need to take a break from Star Wars content and let everything kind of rest.
Speaking of letting things rest, Hasbro can let things rest.
They couldn't they?
As opposed to making more clones. This is the part of the show where we dump on Hasbro for 2 minutes, and it's just egregious. I mean, they announced the Star Wars Vintage Collection Phase 2 Clone Trooper Pack, which comes with one 501st, one painted with Ahsoka's mask, so it's another 501st, and then 2 regular troopers. So only 2 of the 4-pack are painted to look like 501st, and one only has the Ahsoka paint on it. So I mean, that they've already released that one, so that's a repaint.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just we've got a new body. Let's do 12,000 clones. And then they had a Black Series Clone Trooper 2-pack, which is included a Phase 1 Trooper, and then the other one was a Ahsoka Trooper. So I don't know if these are just Clone Trooper builder packs. But Target had this listed for $24.99, which is about $35.99 cheaper than it should have been. I would have assumed this would have been a $50 thing easy. Mm-hmm. Pre-orders have sold out, so who knows if Target will at some point cancel all these orders and then make people reorder them at a inflated rate of probably like $44.99 or something like that.
Somebody went, oops.
Yeah. I would like to just quickly remind Hasbro that there are other characters in the Star Wars universe other than clones.
What?
Yeah.
There's millions of clones in the Star Wars universe, so we need to make millions
of clones, but there's millions of other characters and figures. Oh, I did pick up a Snaggletooth, TVC Snaggletooth this week too from Second Chance.
Nice.
But yeah, look, there's another character right there. He's a new one, but they've already made him, obviously. But yeah, it's just weird that they keep going back to that well, and the last couple announcements have been clone related, and with Andor, we don't get main characters, but we did get the clones that appear for 30 seconds in one scene.
Right.
So we don't have what's Skarsgård's name? Luthen. We don't have Luthen in Vintage Collection, but whatever. We got clones.
Do you think there'd be? I mean, other than the adult collectors, or is TVC basically an adult collector line, and we just pretend it's for kids?
I don't pretend that it's for kids. It's an adult collector line. I think Hasbro, they like to say that this line is for 6-year-olds, which I say it's not. If you look at the demographics and who's buying these things, it's the grown-up collectors. But in the past couple of weeks, I have hit a bunch of Targets and Walmarts, and I could have found every figure in the latest couple Black Series waves, which is kind of new. It does feel like some of these figures are hanging out more than normal. Obviously, when the first wave hits, those usually get snatched up real quick, but then they just hang out there if they have a second wave out there. I saw a Stormtrooper hanging on the pegs. Was it yesterday? I mean, that's a builder right there. That shouldn't be hanging on the shelf.
Yeah, I've noticed that the Ahsoka wave seems to be sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, so that's either people are getting tired of the line, or Ahsoka didn't resonate to the point where people felt like they needed to run out and they needed a 6-inch version of that figure for the shelf. There could be a couple things going on there. This could just be confirmation bias that I don't think the Star Wars line is strong right now, and this is my reasons why I could be fooling myself, essentially.
Right. Well, our people could be just, F it, I'm not going to a brick and mortar store, and they're ordering offline, and the stuff's still showing it up at brick and mortar and sitting there.
Quite possible too. But either way, I just don't think it's healthy.
No.
But it's not just that. Like, there's a Secret Invasion Nick Fury that hangs out in every store that I go to for Marvel Legends, and so it's not just that line. But the G.I. Joe one was kind of surprising. When I went to one of those conventions, I was looking for a specific figure that I thought I could use as a Cantina base of the G.I. Joe Classified line. And they were like, look for number 44, which I guess is a Red Ninja or something like that, which I couldn't use it just didn't look right for Star Wars universe. But I was surprised to see there was like already 100 G.I. Joe Classifieds out there. So I think those are selling really well. Mm-hmm. But I just worry about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that concludes us dumping about Hasbro for the week. I have one more piece of news, but go ahead.
No, I need like a sounder of Hasbro. Time to dump on Hasbro.
Yeah. I try to be positive, and I struggle for this, but I can't help to be a critic. Yeah. I haven't had a drink yet, and I can't talk. I can't criticize them because I feel like it's going to be negative.
Right.
But I just feel like they could be doing better.
Definitely.
If they're going to ice the line, just say we're going to take a break from Star Wars for a year or whatever the case may be. Don't just feed us these repacks and repaints and then try to be try to get us excited about it, because it's like, this is the 9th time you're releasing clones, whatever the case may be.
It just feels like when something does happen, and what was that thing? Or was it you that was making fun of the expression?
Offline, yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I can edit this out if you want me to.
It's fine.
But it goes back into that where they're like, we've got this new whatever expression or toy, and it feels fake. And you're right. They should, if they're going to do something with the line, let us know. And then that way we can make plans.
Yeah. Like, I think it's just marketing 101, that when you're marketing something, when you're talking to a fan, you don't say our 6-inch expression. Just say, we love the Black Series and we think this is a great line. And then when you go do your stock report, because it is a publicly traded company, just say the Star Wars expression and 6 inches are doing great, because that makes you sound smarter.
Right. Oh, there you go. Look at Jason. Check out the big brain on Jason.
It's pretty small. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this was kind of surprising because I'm like, people really cared about this. Dave Filoni came out and said that the Loft Cat is okay. So whoever's worried about the fictional creature on the fictional show in the fictional universe, the cat is fine.
Dude, people were really concerned about that damn cat.
It's a fictional cat.
People worry about all kinds of weird stuff, man.
The cat suddenly became sentient, was able to take care of itself. It tidied up the room. It made some biscuits for itself. It had tea. The cat is fine.
Right, but I mean, he even went as far as to be like, oh yeah, it probably found its way into the air ducts and worked its way down and knew how to get in and out of there, or Sabine left the door open, or
who knows. The cat is fine.
Cats.
Freaking loft cat. The cat is fine. Catty Wampus.
Freaking Steven.
Was
it Steven, or what's the guy's name from Ted? Philip Patrick.
Oh,
I forgot.
It'll come to me later. Stewart.
Effing Stewart.
Yeah, the Winter Social.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It was, man. I was real surprised at the amount of planning that this thing took.
Oh.
My wife seriously had been working on this for like the last 6 months.
Yeah. It's a big thing. This is why Narayan's like, I can't do the summer social this year.
I don't know how he does that every year, man.
Yeah. He's got more stuff going on this year, which is why it's just kind of a party at his place where there's no games and no pre-planning, and just clean up and come on over is kind of the situation this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does take a while to plan this stuff out. It's not just a walk in the park. Let's just throw a couple crock pots up there.
No, it's not. Yeah, because my wife she planned trophies because what we do is you started the tradition of doing a mac and cheese and a chili cook-off to kind of help ease the burden of providing food, so that you get somebody to bring, because it is. If you're right, it's better than a crock pot potluck, because it brings a contest aspect into it.
Yeah.
And so my wife made trophies. She found the little paint your own Ewok. Found one of those and actually made a mold of it, and then made pours of it and painted them all up. And you helped out. You made stands and stickers for them, and that took her like on top of figuring out how you're going to distribute all the chili and everything. She's legitimately spent like 6 months on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, like a wedding, it's gone in a minute, gone in an instant. You're just like,
That's how remember fun's going to be.
Oh my God. Well, I was talking to her like last night or this morning or whatever, and you had asked when we were going to do the judging, when we were going to be done with, because what happens is you give everybody a ticket and they vote on their favorite mac and favorite chili. And at about 7:15, you asked me, when are we going to do the final count? And I said, 8 o'clock. I thought a half an hour, and then I said, you know what? Let's just make it 8 o'clock. And I'm like, that's a long. In my mind, I'm like, that is a long time. And the next thing I know, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I looked down on my watch and I went, oh crap, I got to go count Chili tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how fast that evening went. But no, we started, thankfully with the Powder Springs show, getting canceled, or, we were able to spend all day cleaning versus, trying to get it done in 2 hours. And about 5 o'clock, Narayan and I think maybe Tim showed up. No, 6 o'clock. Right at 6 o'clock, we had 2 or 3 people. And our dogs, of course, were going crazy. And because, there's people here, which they calmed down about half an hour into it. But Mandy had gone into her office to start showing, the few people that were here. And then she said when she walked out, the room was full, and she was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was just amazing how fast it went from nobody to a full house full of people in like a half an hour.
Yeah. I showed up like at 6:05. I was trying not to be early, since the last time I was like 2 minutes early, and you knew I was right outside. So I was like, this time I'm going to be late. But like everyone was there when I was like one of the last people to show up from that first wave. And I was following someone in with shorts on. And I'm like, who is that? And like, he opened the door, he's walking in. I'm like, who the heck is that? It was Ryan Shaw from down south and near Savannah. He came up for the social. I was just like, whoa.
I think everything. It's a happy coincidence with him showing up to these, because his brother, I think, lives in Kennesaw.
Yeah.
So he ends up planning things around to where it works out to where he's in town for him. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of shows up, which is awesome. He actually, I spent like probably 45 minutes talking about my Bill and Ted collection with him, because he's a sculptor. And then I showed him, I had all those pre-production pictures I had, and I thought they were hand painted or painted hard copies. He goes, no, those are wax sculpts.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts showing me things, and I'm just like, oh, so this went from something cool to being, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I always enjoy spending the time with him, because it makes me appreciate that kind of stuff even more, because he knows he's showing you things and nuances that you're missing, or that you're not paying attention. But it was cool to see Ryan last night.
That was surprising. A pleasant what is it? The line, a pleasant surprise indeed. I forget.
Yeah. Something.
Anyways, maybe I'm more tired than I thought, because I'm a blabbering idiot, and maybe I'm not podcast ready, but whatever.
Yeah, but so we had like somewhere between 20 and 25 people, because I remember counting the ugly sweater contest tickets, and I'm like, I looked at Mandy, and we didn't vote, and there was like 22. So we had like 25 people, somewhere between 20 and 25 people in the house last night. Mm-hmm. Which I was really thankful for all the work we had done knocking that wall down, and we had rearranged our living room furniture to open everything up. Because we took our couches and pushed them to the edges of the room versus in the middle of the room. Mm-hmm. And it opened up the dining room and the living room. And then it was a nice enough night. I was also smart enough about 2 o'clock to turn my AC on, because I'm like, I know it's cold now, but it's going to be hot. And it was still hot. I put my AC down to like 68 and it was still hot in my house.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but you could tell like people that were dressed in the ugly sweater or were dressed for the evening versus being inside, they were starting to perspire a little bit. But, we had on back deck. We had people hanging out up there. It was, I'd cleaned out my garage. So just in case we ran out of room, we can send people down there, but we didn't need it. I think if we had a few more people show up, I would have sent them down there. We would have set up a third gathering spot. But everybody seemed to have a good time last night. I think it was a big success. It was basically
success.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Showing off the collections and showing off everything, hanging out, giving out the White Wampa presents. The chili, we had 3 chilies and 2 chilies and 3 Macs. So you and your wife each took home one.
Yep.
And Lewis and April each took one. And then who was I don't remember who.
Doug got third place for the Mac.
Oh, Doug got third place for the chili, for another Mac. So basically everybody who brought a chili or a Mac took home a trophy.
Yep.
And then I kept one because I made meatballs and weenies, and everybody seemed to like those. It was like, we didn't have a third place chili, so I'm keeping that trophy.
Yes, and my wife wasn't disqualified. I didn't disqualify her, so she was happy to actually win.
Yeah. And I don't even know. I didn't even eat any of that because you're so busy. I mean, I was eating some of the hot dog, the cocktail weenies and meatballs, but I didn't even like make my way over there. Because there again, you're so busy talking to people. And it was very overwhelming, because you're trying to be a good host and talk to everybody, and you don't
have time for that.
You don't have time.
No.
And you feel bad because like Ryan came up to me and goes, "This is great beer," because he got one of the Reformations out of the cooler and was drinking it, and he was like, "This is a great beer." And I wanted to go in detail with him about it or talk to him about it. And I don't know where the conversation went. I think somebody called me about something or asked me something else. And that happened so much last night, to where you're like, start a conversation with somebody and then you get distracted and walk away. And you're like, you remember like 5 minutes later, oh man, I was having a conversation with this person about something totally different, and you get pulled away.
Yeah.
It was funny. Mandy was trying to, I had done all the mac and cheese announcements and the chili announcements, but I'm like, babe, you need to do the ugly sweater because you worked really hard on this trophy and you need to make the announcement. And she was just like, fine, I'll do it. And she started making the announcement and nobody's paying attention. I'm in the kitchen, like way on the other end of the room. And I'm just like, sorry, excuse me for a minute. And I had to go take over. I'm like, she doesn't know how to control a room. Here we go. And I had to make the announcement because people were paying attention, but they weren't paying attention. And you could just feel it, So before it went south, I went and took over. I think she was pretty happy with me for doing that. But Tim won the ugly sweater contest, which was kind of cool. And then he had a stocking on the back of his shirt with a poster in it. And then I saw I didn't know what was on the poster, and he pulled it out and he was like, "Oh, I went to the GASWC Winter Social and all I got was this ugly sweater." And so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had done
very creative. And Susan's sweater was just as creative. She took the Ewok from the trophy. So you had like the red cowl on because your wife painted a red cowl, and then she put some snowflakes on them. And Susan made like a whole plush doll, essentially, of an Ewok on her shirt, and I thought that was pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. And then Doug had a light up
Darth Vader.
Yeah. And it was close. Tim and Susan, it was a point. It was 1 vote.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought I really liked.
This is why voting matters, because if there was one less, we'd have a tie.
Yeah. But I really like the way that we did that, because in years past, the admins have been the ones to make the decision.
Yep.
And this year we decided to just open it up to everybody. And
power to the people.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I kind of wanted to do it Survivor style, where 1 vote for Susan, 1 vote for Tim, 1 vote for Doug. And Mandy's like, no, we're not going to do that. Just to kind of give it some suspense to it. But
yeah.
I
do think next year we're going to do White Wampa
or Dirty Santa or Dirty Wampa.
Yeah, because we do more of a Secret Santa where you buy for someone based on their likes. I think, and that closes things off. And I think you can be more flexible, or we could be more flexible, just by having that. Bring a $30 gift, put it on the table. You'll get a number. We'll pull the numbers. Whoever. You'll get a number, you'll pull a number, and that's the number that you pick your gift, or you can steal a couple of times. And there's probably things we can do to make that fun, but that way you don't have to be there for the deadline. If it's a last minute thing as you drive to the social, you pick something up, great. You can be part of the gift exchange. So
Right. And there were some unique gifts. And my wife was Mandy was kind of concerned. She's like, what if somebody just doesn't try? And I'm like, you're going to have that person. And then you're going to have somebody who does like a homemade gift that's could blow up.
yeah.
It doesn't take much. You only need like 2 or 3 people to really be into a gift, and they'll go crazy for it. I think if we're going to do that, I'd like to put like a no gag gift policy in.
Yeah.
That way people don't get stuck with a stupid gift, and everybody gets something that's has some value to it.
Yeah, because at work they did that one time and someone got stuck with underwear with someone's face on it. And I'm like, that's just the dumbest gift ever, especially for work. It's not appropriate, but that's the kind of stuff you're talking about.
That's
no ideas.
Awesome and inappropriate at the same time.
Yeah. But that's what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. You don't want, or like one of my friends brought like a Star Trek door chime as a gag gift one time at one of the things we did with the family, and I'm like, why did you do that? Because I don't want this, and it was ridiculous. He did it on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you could say make sure you bring something that you wouldn't want to be, or something that you would not be mad that you'd be stuck with, but that could be anything. Like people could be like, I would like that gift of someone's face on my underwear.
Yeah.
So it's just got to be Star Wars related in a certain dollar amount. But we'll cross that bridge.
We've got another Rogue Fun. You're right. Jeez. Yeah, Rogue Fun. I was talking to Adam today at the swap meet, and at the show, and he's just like, I can't believe that thing sold out as fast as it. And I'm like, we couldn't either, dude.
Yeah. That was kind of surprising.
But Rogue Fun. That'll be fun. But I think that's it. Yeah, because so back to the Winter Social, and I don't want to say you ruined it, but I think if you didn't have to leave at like 10:45, because it's like as soon as you left at like 10:45, everybody else left. Because we were like, man. Because it was us. It was the 4 of us and Kelly
and Chance
and Tony. And you had already knew you had a deadline, so you had to go pick up your son from work. And and I think everybody was kind of building up to that anyway. And then once you guys left, everybody kind of left. I didn't see Tony today in Conyers.
Maybe he didn't come.
Yeah, maybe. Or I missed
stayed
him.
out home.
Yeah. Because we got there like at 10:30. But anyway, long story short, it was fun. We all hung out on the back deck and chat, talked for about an hour after the bulk of people left. And about we did a real quick cleanup, and it's like we sat down on the couch and went, why am I so tired?
Yeah. But you also started at 6, right? I used to start at 5.
Okay.
Right?
I think so.
Didn't you start it a little bit later to try to get people to stay later?
I might have. Because I thought I had it originally started at like 7, and I went, that's too late. So then I pushed it back to 6. Or moved it up to 6 rather. Because 5 I thought was if we started it at 5, people would have been gone at like 8.
Yeah. It's like pulling teeth to get some of these members to stay past 8, which is fine. I'm not like making fun of anyone. I mean, in Atlanta, it could be an hour to get home, and if you want to be home by 10, you do need to leave at 9.
Right.
It's just the way things go.
Yeah. And then you talk to people that in other clubs, and they start at like noon and go till like 1 in the morning, and you're like, how do you do that?
That's not happening for us.
No. That's a big ask. I think even for me, that's a long day.
Yeah. But if we did the swap, the dirty Santa, whatever you want to call it, that'll take up more time. So that'll stretch the event out a little bit more. And did people ask about the scavenger hunt?
No, nobody asked about it. Did people ask you?
I can't remember.
Because I remember you asking me, and I think it was you were just sort of like, "Hey, did you guys do one?" I think you were just sort of being a good co-host or good, "Hey, man, did you do one because you need to announce it?" And we didn't. We just ended up running out of time. We had talked about doing one, doing some Wampa arms. I think it was part of the fact that we couldn't agree on something, and then we just ran out of time. And I don't think Mandy really wanted people going through everything.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, I mean, we did learn from you guys' either mistakes or experiences with the whole thing.
That was funny.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's funny in hindsight. It's kind of horrifying for my wife to see everybody opening up dishes that we were throwing things in cabinets just to clean up, and we'll take care of it later. And then people are just opening up cabinets looking for this stuff, and it's like, don't, it's not there. I'm just trying to hide my stuff in there.
Yeah, thankfully we had that we have the laundry room we had made, so we were able to throw stuff in there, and I don't think anybody went in there, but yeah, I didn't realize how big of a deal the garbage was going to be.
Yeah.
You just don't think about that. I think we went through like 4 or 5 bags, and I was just like, oh man, if I'd have realized this, I'd have made like a 5-gallon bag or something.
Yeah.
But I think that was the biggest shocker for me, is just the fact that it was just so much garbage.
Yeah, I think the last time I did that, I brought in one of the garbage cans from outside and put a big black bag in it, just because there's a lot of garbage.
Yeah, you don't realize it. And
No.
yeah, we've been having an issue with our plumbing. Not a big issue, but when you have 20 people using your toilet, Tony comes through me in the middle of the night, and he's just like, your toilet's messed up. So I had to go plunge it. I think we've got a vent issue that we have to get dealt with. And of course, it's like, we need to get this dealt with. And you just buy more Star Wars toys.
Of course. Priorities, people. Priorities.
Yeah, priorities. It's so that was probably the most major thing. And thankfully somebody, Tony was smart enough. So I don't think somebody may have flushed the toilet and walked away. And then I think Tony went in there next and was just like, dude, your toilet. So it's no big deal. Just had to go create the vacuum again.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah. So nothing broke, nothing major. I mean, it is, when everybody, there's definitely a trust factor there, that you don't have to worry about things. Yeah, it was just, like I said, it was a fun time showing everything off. And I think Mandy, we were driving today, and Mandy's like, I'm exhausted. And
yeah,
it hits you like 12 hours later how tired you really are.
Now just imagine doing that 3 days in a row. And that's why I'm taking Monday off.
From Rogue Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm taking Friday off because you're doing, maybe I'll take Monday off. Because you're doing something. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, because we're doing something Friday during the day.
Yeah, I'm taking Wednesday through Monday off.
Wow.
Just to make sure that I have all the last minute things checked off. And we have someone coming in on Thursday to help us with the event, and I need to show him the space. And get that person checked in. And then I plan on doing a Rogue One screening in my backyard Thursday night if weather's permitting. If it doesn't happen, we'll just hang out at my place, a pre-party for those that are in town.
Right.
But hopefully the weather will hold up and we'll be able to watch Rogue One out back. I got my projector in the shop right now. There's a card that was going on it, which was giving pinstripe lines on it, but it's a common issue and it'll be fixed and we'll be good to go.
Awesome.
So I'm excited about that. But yeah, once we're done with Rogue Fun on Sunday, we'll be ready to crash and keep your stamina up.
Yes, dude. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I'm curious how my wife's gonna deal with it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your wife was smart enough to be like, I'll help out, but I'm not gonna stick around for long. I'll help out where you need me, but don't plan on me all day.
For the event itself, yeah. But we have volunteers, so we need to put them to work. Right.
Well, we're gonna have plenty of work, I think.
We have one more announcement that's going to go live on Facebook in real time for us at 4:00, so we can announce that after you talk about Conyers, the toy show.
Yeah, so we It's the Conyers Toy Show that's put on by our buddy Dutch. It's at the Legion Hall in Conyers. I think it's his 5th or 6th year doing it. He, of course, with COVID, they didn't do it that year. We only spent about an hour and a half there, and I think it's partially because I could tell it's a big part was because we were just fatigued from last night.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you smiling, you little devil. You're like, yeah, that's why I didn't go. There probably, there was a decent amount of Star Wars stuff. I've always liked it because it felt to me like it was a Toylanta light. So if you basically took the G.I. Joes out of Toylanta, that was the show this was. I want to say I've heard about 20 vendors. There was a couple of comic book guys. I want to say maybe 10 to 20% comics. Normally it's a little bit more. There was one guy that Dave's Comics wasn't there this year, so he brings a big chunk of comics. But I've noticed, and you've noticed too, comics are starting to sneak in more and more on toy shows, which, whatever. I'm truthfully at the point of these shows, it's more about hanging out and seeing friends and hopefully finding something. I thought the pricing is starting to come down. It's starting to adjust. So yeah, speaking of pricing, so we had seen at Retro Toy Con, there was one of the glaring things about pricing is there was a set of roller skates for $150 with the box.
Mm-hmm.
Mandy found a pair of roller skates that were not as good a condition, but fair, close enough for $50 shipped on eBay. So that just goes to show you pricing.
Yeah. I mean, how big was the quality difference between what we saw at the show and here?
I have to take a look at the wheels. One of them you can tell like the logo is almost not almost gone, but I'd say it's probably 75% gone, or no, 25% gone, and the logo looks really good. I don't know if they were $100 difference.
Yeah.
Granted the one had the box, so maybe it was but yeah, I don't know. I can't quote. I'd have to look at her roller skates better to see the quality difference in the two.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. But because it just shows
that vendor could say, well, look at this. And so therefore mine's worth $150.
Right. I mean, he might could say it came with the box, so they were worth that much more. But it's funny because that's like the one thing that everybody was drawn to in her collection was like, oh, you've got the roller skates.
Oh, really?
And she literally just put them up. She put them up like an hour before the party.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So there was a lot. It wasn't as much Star Wars as in the past, but they had a decent amount. It was a lot of beaters. One guy, I think his name's Dale. He's always there with his daughter. He had 2 Stormtrooper Lukes loose. He had a graded Man, a graded, I think an Imperial Gunner, and then he had 3 graded last 17 and a Paplu, one of the Ewoks. But he has that a lot. So it's just, I kind of pay attention to his stuff because he always has like a really cool gem hidden in the pile of junk. There's a gem and you're just like cool seeing it. The coolest thing I saw was, I think it's called the Terror Tower or whatever. It was a superpowers. It was Captain's Doom Tower of Doom, sealed in the box, and the graphics on that. I keep fighting the superpower stuff, but the graphics on that looked really cool. And I don't know what the guy was wanting for it, but it looked pretty awesome. And then that same guy had, I think, a full run of 12-inch Star Wars figures with the IG-88.
Impressive.
It was, I don't know what he was wanting for him, so I can't quote on those pricing. And then he had the Amidala, the starship, that big silver one.
Yep.
They had one boxed. He had one boxed. So I don't know if it was sealed or not.
He's asking what, $500 for it?
I didn't ask it. The guy bought it as we were walking in.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a typical toy show. At least this one felt like there were different vendors because you had a few different vendors in there than you normally do. But it is getting to the point where it's like it's almost the same stuff at every show, maybe a little bit of rotation to it.
Yeah.
I know you're getting upset with that.
Oh, I'm not
Especially-
upset. I'm just like, I don't feel like the need to go to Conyers because I'll see it in Toylanta in 2 months, 3 months.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping that Toylanta show they knocked out the park at Toylanta.
Well, there'll be one presentation that'll be worth checking out.
Yes, I gotta message that dude and be like, dude, I'll message him when we get off. But yeah, they did come to us about doing a panel, so we'll see.
I've got the narrative figured out. I just got to put it together and figure out what photos I need.
That'll be awesome. And it's always nerve-wracking when you're doing one of those panels and then you spend all the time and 3 people show up. So
yeah, it's the nature of the beast, but
right.
That just helps get over fears of public speaking. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done public speaking, but I'm not afraid of it like I used to be.
Right.
So this should be fine.
Right.
I think it's more of being like when I do these Star Wars panels, I just feel like a fraud. Like maybe I'm not the subject matter expert. Maybe somebody out here is the subject matter expert.
I feel like that almost every time we open the mic up, but it's like the way I battle that is I'm always open. If I say something that's wrong, call me out and tell me how I said it wrong. And if you do it respectfully, I will accept that criticism and then put that out into the world. So,
yeah. Or like hearsay things like, I don't want to get into it, but I've heard something about the topic. It sucks talking in generalities. I heard something about the topic, and I actually went to the design director for that company and asked him, have you heard this? Is this true or accurate? And that individual said, I've never heard that before, but it sounds like it could be true.
Wow.
So he couldn't confirm the story. I'm sorry. I'll tell you in March. I promise.
Come to our Toylanta panel or
Yes.
your toy or whatever. Our Toylanta. There you go. There it is. I know you're doing most of the work, but yes. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I got to the point where you were looking for stuff to buy because you've got the itch, and I don't like getting there.
Yeah, that's not a healthy itch to have.
No, I don't like it. Because Mandy had gone to the car and she had given me her cash because I'm like, give me the cash because I don't want to have to hunt you down. And then all of a sudden you think you got a free ticket. And I'd done like one more lap, and it just you're kind of looking,
You're kind of looking. I'm not looking.
I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I got money burning a hole in my pocket. And I know damn good and well, because I made a deal on something else that I've got to pay off in a few weeks, that I shouldn't be buying anything because I have this, hopefully get enough Christmas bonus to cover it.
Another reason not to go to these shows.
Right. But it's like, what else was I going to do today?
Sleep.
Yeah, I could have
recover.
I was up at 8:00. We got up at like 8, and or I got up at 8. My dog was. I've got an alarm. If he is not, or if I'm not up by 8, he's in my face going, "Dad, wake up!
It's 8.
It's 8:00, Dad. Mom's been up for like 2 hours. Come on, man, get up."
Kanan.
Yep, Kanan, my boy. He was actually, dude. Last night, he
was exhausted.
He was. He had laid down, and Mandy went to call him to bed, and he didn't move. And normally he's like pretty good about going to bed. The other 2 dogs were like, I'm going to bed. F you guys.
Yeah.
And she picked him up and brought him into the bedroom and laid him on the bed, and he didn't move. He was like, when I walked into the bedroom, his hind legs was like up in the air. Like, I'm not moving. He was so tired. But he did like except for like the first half hour, which they were, but all three of them were just freaking out because there were people here. And once they got used to it, I think they did pretty good. And you know, when you have dog people in your house, they know what a dog does and they know how a dog acts. So they were, they were interacting with him and they were accepting of him like, hey, what are you eating? Trying to beg food off of him and stuff. But my other two dogs were just like, F this, and they went and hide. Or did they? Yeah, they were pretty much hiding. But
Sabine was hiding.
Yeah. Sabine was just like, don't touch me. And Katie was like, hey man, what's up?
Yeah.
You got something? You want to give me something? So, yeah, it was cool. I need to get him to quit jumping on people, but he doesn't do it bad. He's just a little dog, but I know some people don't like that.
Yeah. Sonny does it. It's just, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Except yell at her and, hey, get out. Hey, get out.
Yeah. But yeah, he was good. He was, yeah. Jason TK looked at me and goes, your dog likes Jack. I was like, don't tell me dog Jack. He was just drinking he was just drinking what was in my cup. What I didn't have anything left over. He was just drinking my. I'm like,
maybe that's part of the reason why he was pooped. He was crap.
But I also we had given him earlier in the day because he was just hyper yesterday morning. I bought some calming chews.
Yeah.
So we had been giving him some kind of throughout the day to at least hopefully calm him down. So I think it worked a little bit, but. No, and my father-in-law was like, yeah, dude, those don't work, man. It's like, great. So I wasted $20.
Yeah, we tried those with Sunny when we take her for car rides, and she's still stressed out, so forget it. So yeah, what are you looking forward to for Rogue Fun?
Oh, wait, I forgot. There was one more place we went. We went to that CCS place.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah. It felt like it was about half Pokemon card, half modern. No, hold on.
Target threw up.
Not as bad, but Target with pops. They had a lot of pops, a lot of Pokemon, a couple of different the one cool Star Wars place vendor that I wanted to see wasn't open today.
Of course.
Murphy's Law. Because when we had left Conyers, I looked at my wife and I'm like, hey, we're on the right side of town. Do you at least want to go see the CCS place? Because we're here, we're going to drive basically right by it. So we went and we were in and out in like half an hour, 45 minutes. If I didn't meet that guy and talk to him for 20 minutes, we would have been out in a half an hour. There was a pop store called Stuck in Time. They were off of Beaver Ruin. They shut down the physical store, and their store is now in that place. It's only open on the Saturday, Sunday, and it's basically a flea market for people that sell a geek flea market. And I mean, there was the one vendor that had vintage stuff was closed today, so I didn't get to go look at it. There was one guy that had a bunch of modern Star Wars and in modern Marvel Legends and stuff, and he was doing buy one get one free, buy one get one half off, and I didn't really see anything in there. And then there was another booth doing 20% off, and yeah, I mean, it was some cool stuff. It was while we were on that side of town worth going to, but I don't think making an hour trip out there would be worth it unless they were doing a special event, which sometimes they do.
Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
It's not really a priority to go out there and see it because I assumed most of it would be. And Jordan's gone and recorded videos on that. Jordan Gasly on YouTube, and it just didn't seem like something that I necessarily needed to run out for. A lot of it was Target threw up Pokemon cards, not Star Wars items, which I'm just not interested in. And as much as vast as Star Wars collecting is, it's nice to be focused on that one niche and not feel like I need to get Masters of the Universe, DC, Marvel. It's all just Star Wars. And if it's not Star Wars, that's the other thing about these booths. I just scan for Star Wars. I'm sure I'm missing holy grails in there that I'm not aware of. But if it's not Star Wars, it's the blinders are on. I'm not paying any attention to it.
If it's not Star Wars, it's crap.
If it's not Star Wars, it's crap.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing for you because you can put your blinders on. And I kind of went down the Masters of the Universe hole before I did the Mythic Legion stuff. And I've got like 30 Masters of the Universe, and I'm like, what am I going to do with these?
Yeah.
But they're cool pieces. Yeah.
So.
I did find out that one guy I talked to, he's going to be a Mythic Legion / Cosmic Legions dealer. So at least that'll be a place in Georgia, you can find the Four Horsemen stuff.
Good to know.
Yeah.
The blinders are on, so I just dumped that information. Hopefully the listener will retain it, and that's what's important, not me.
Exactly. So now granted, did I see a lot of potential there? Yes, because there is it looked like there was a big gaming space. So if you're in the gaming, card gaming, that there was a lot of people doing that. It felt like, there were people doing building models. There was a big TV setup. So, it's something that, maybe, if we want to do another event, it might be a place to host one. I didn't get into it that much, but you're just kind of looking around, looking at potential, and you're exhausted at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're close to it, it's in Stone Mountain. Go check it out.
The other thing I wanted to announce is that Rogue Fun is an event that will happen on Saturday, but if you're in town, there's ancillary events that everyone's open to. You don't have to have the ticket to participate in. As the example would be this Thursday night Rogue One screening / maybe party if the weather doesn't participate or cooperate. We're going to have a party at Norion's, or just a hangout, I guess. Icebreaker. It's kind of an icebreaker event, get to know, hang out, and then that's open to everyone. Rogue Fun is unfortunately closed at this point because tickets are sold out. But then Sunday morning we're doing the Kennesaw Run, and then the final event that I can announce now is Bolero, a group event from 1 to 3 o'clock. Bolero is right across the street from the hotel, so if you're staying at the hotel, it's less than a mile to get there. Wouldn't recommend walking though. There's a big uphill to get to Bolero.
And there's a major road you have to cross, like 6-lane road.
Yeah. So then it's going to be what, $25 per person. You'll get the lane, you'll get food, you'll get drink, you'll get that's soft drink.
Yes. The soda pop.
There is a bar, so if you wanted to enhance your drink and put a little jack into it, I'm sure you can go over there and get that. We'll have lanes. We'll have billiards. Did I say that right? There's an arcade.
There's billiards available.
Well, we can reserve a table for an hour or two for like $15. So I think.
That's nice.
We're just going to do that, and that way, if anyone wants to take a break from bowling and go over there, they can do that. But that will be $25. That is open to anyone. You don't need to be at the Saturday Rogue Fun event. And again, it's from 1 to 3. So the intent here is that you'll be done at 3 and you can just grab your stuff and go down 75 to the airport, and you can catch a 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock flight.
Right. And it's like,
be home.
Yeah. Sorry.
Saturday night, or Sunday night, you could be home.
Yeah. It was just try an opportunity for us to hang out one more time before everybody's going to go out of town.
That'll be the end.
Yeah.
We'll be crashed.
Yeah. I'll go home and sleep. Oh, dude, the worst part, and not the worst part, but I think it's Sunday. You were asking what was going to, I'm looking forward to the whole event, but I'm kind of fearing the Kennesaw Run because it'll be a very late night Saturday and then up early Sunday morning, getting the house ready. Thankfully, we don't have. It's not going to be as big an ordeal as last night was, but it's still an ordeal having 30 people run through your house, 40 people, 50 people, whatever.
That's part of the reason why I'm taking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, is to get the house ready, because I know once Friday starts, there's going to be no time to be at home.
Right,
and it needs to be ready. It needs to be ready for Sunday on Thursday.
Yeah, especially if you're having people over Thursday night.
Yeah. And I'm like 10 minutes from the hotel, so I'm very close. And I just thought, if you're in town early, come on over, hang out, let's watch a movie. Maybe the best Disney era movie and the namesake for the event itself.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, no, it'll be a fun time. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know. I'm talking over myself, but
we're also doing that hike up Kennesaw Mountain, so it's a mile. It's not that bad, but if you're out of shape, it's that bad.
okay, so it'll be that bad for me unless I get in shape.
I would go and try it once,
Okay.
just to get the hang of it. So you know what you're in for. There are a couple areas where it levels out about halfway, but then that last hike to the top can be pretty exhausting.
See, I want to know what it is about people and these Star Wars events wanting to do hikes.
It's outside. It has nothing to do with the materialism of collecting. It's getting to know people. That's my 2 cents. My quick 2 cents.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Anywho, anything else?
I think we're good.
Thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. If it's allowed, it really helps us out and points people to our show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We always love feedback. We love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. Thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People, collect for the love of it. # vote with your wallet. Sabine will be on next week. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.